short recap and then touch on some new information. As we know, both individuals tested negative for carbon monoxide. City Fire conducted tests and deemed scene safe for deputies to conduct their investigation.
The passing of a Hollywood actor resulted in a case that achieved such puzzling discoveries and unsettling aspects that the FBI became baffled. The story surrounding Hollywood actor Gene Hackman, as well as his wife Betsy Arakawa, proves utterly exceptional. A quiet Santa Fe mansion became the site of a tragic discovery that unleashed a mystery with unexplained questions and peculiar contradictions, which seemed to elude all possible explanations. Beyond being a story about death, it explores clandestine activities and disturbing evidence which suggests obscure malicious forces were present.
For the New Mexico Office of the Medical Investigator, Dr. Aaron Phipps, New Mexico State Public Health Veterinarian, New Mexico Department of Health, and also Chief Brian Moya, Santa Fe City Fire Department. This investigation started on February 26th with the discovery of Mr. Hackman and Miss Arakawa and their dog at their residence.
On February 26th, 2025, police discovered the deceased bodies of famous actor Gene Hackman and pianist Betsy Arakawa at their isolated New Mexico residence. A facility maintenance worker performed the discovery after he detected an open front entrance, which revealed Hackman's deceased body in the vestibule and Arakawa's corpse within a bathroom. The bodies exhibited serious decay patterns that indicated 2 weeks of death. One puppy was discovered inside a closet after dying, and the other 2 dogs survived, although they displayed evidence of dehydration. The crime scene remained confusing with no evidence of violence or robbery, while no one entered the house and no wounds existed on the deceased bodies, causing the investigators to say something isn't right. The initial probe started without enough information to explain the circumstances. Tests of Hackman's pacemaker device showed his heart arrest took place on February 17th, before finding the deceased individuals. But when did Arakawa die? The scheduling ambiguity grew worse after the building maintenance employee called 911 following the discovery of the bodies. At first, he described finding only 1 body in the surveillance tape, but then he changed his story to reveal 2 bodies seconds after his initial report. Additional factors beyond simple mistakes seem to have led to his inability to properly identify the body. No one had encountered the couple during the 2 weeks before their deaths. Their privacy meant nothing to them, while they refused contact for 2 entire weeks. That's a red flag. Let's talk about the dogs. 1 dead, 2 alive. Does this major difference between the established and observed facts need an explanation? The deceased dog rested inside a closet near Arakawa, which made observers wonder if the dog intentionally sought concealment. Examiners rescued surviving dogs throughout different locations of the house, yet they were dehydrated but alive. The dog displayed symptoms that indicated exposure to poisonous substances. The dog became trapped by accident when the house became chaotic during that chaotic situation. Scientists need to determine if the dog's passing represents something more dangerous than simple misfortune. Testing the house for possible harmful substances yielded negative results to investigators. So what killed the dog? Do the dog's mysterious death and the fatalities of Hackman and Arakawa share a common cause? Medical experts believe Hackman died from an unexpected heart problem, which led to his collapse outside the foyer of the house. The sound of the fall triggered a quick response from Arakawa, but she suffered an immediately subsequent medical emergency, likely due to stress or a pre-existing health condition, despite her rush to help him. The scattered medications near her body support this theory. If this theory stands true, then what was the reason she did not reach for help? Cannon's home phones were functional along with Arakawa and Hackman possessing powered cell phones. Did she panic? Was she disoriented? What element stopped her from making any attempt to contact others? The medical reports, thanks to autopsies, created even more unexplained aspects. Medical examination confirmed that Hackman died from heart arrest, but Arakawa's was less definitive. The medical examiner observed heart disease signs, but acknowledged that her death might have resulted from trying to save him through psychological stress. Multiple indicators of potential fall accidents existed, which questioned whether she suffered any injuries during her confinement. And then there's the dog. The examination showed that dehydration caused the death of the dog after it spent days confined inside the closet. But how and why? Theories began to swirl. The incident made some people wonder if Hackman suffered from an accident that required Arakawa to watch over him before she also became too tired or ill to survive. These events can explain why the victims remained unattended so long before their deaths, while their bodies became decomposed. The lack of evidence explains why Arakawa did not request any sort of help. Inspection of the house and missing evidence pointed away from intruders due to the lack of any signs that indicated an unlawful entry or physical confrontation. Law enforcement officials kept open all potential explanations for what occurred at the beach. A case of this unique nature requires consideration of even bizarre ideas given their distinct characteristics. The available medical records from both spouses produced helpful evidence, although they failed to produce clear solutions. At 95 years old, Hackman carried a pacemaker due to his existing heart problems. Arakawa, 65, managed blood pressure and thyroid conditions. Although they differed in age by 30 years, they maintained a strong and loving bond in their relationship. The extensive duration of over 40 years of marriage between Hackman and Arakawa strengthened the plausibility of suicide while attempting to save him. Devotional behavior by itself does not provide answers to a pending mystery. Law enforcement continued their investigation by focusing on the fact that the couple dwelled in an isolated residential area. A secluded Santa Fe location allowed the mansion to function as an isolated refuge free from the attention of Hollywood. Being so remote meant emergency help arrived with great difficulty. The couple would have had no one to count on if something went wrong apart from themselves, unless the situation required mutual support. Their restricted social isolation, along with decreased communication during their last moments, has prompted people to ask whether privacy became their fatal mistake. Investigators classify the emergency phone call as one of the main unresolved questions surrounding the mystery. People have endlessly examined the maintenance worker's transformation of reporting a single body into two different bodies. The worker's correction between 1 to 2 bodies continues to raise questions about his innocence and additional hidden motives. The worker underwent thorough investigation from investigators who identified no suspicious relationships. The maintenance employee worked at the property throughout many years without any criminal record. Each minor point in this investigation gains extra importance because of the case's peculiar nature. The investigation surrounding the Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa case faces significant difficulty from the 9 days between when Hackman died and their bodies were discovered. According to Hackman's pacemaker data, his heart ceased functioning on February 17, 2025, but authorities only discovered their bodies on February 26th. There exists a 9-day unanswered question regarding the events that unfolded. Why did Arakawa fail to obtain assistance when Hackman suddenly passed away? As both members of the couple owned functional phone lines and power-enabled cell phones, they maintained silence for 9 days. What stopped Arakawa from contacting others after Hackman passed away, right after his sudden death? Or why was she unable to communicate with the outside world? The inconsistent timeline creates more investigative questions than possible answers, which demands investigators to reconstruct the unexplainable parts of the case. A central element in the Tamaron case investigation is the emergency phone call from the repair worker who located the corpses. In his first statement, the worker described discovering one dead body, but within moments he revised his report when he observed 2 individuals had perished. Did his initial accidental mix-up of the body count result from a shock, or did he have other reasons for being unclear? Both investigators and detectives looked closely at the worker to find any potential questionable ties and confirmed his credibility. Yet the changing statements he made during the 911 call remain a matter of doubt. The informant had something unclear in front of him, possibly leading to doubts about his first assessment. The investigators' confusion might have acted as a misleading detail, despite the case already being filled with complex issues. Even trivial pieces of information can create crucial evidence during a legal investigation, as proven by the puzzling phone call in this case. The dog death, among other bizarre parts of this case, appears as a puzzle that demands explanation. The deceased dog lay dead inside a closet close to Arakawa's body, while surviving family pets remain alive, but dehydrated throughout different areas of the house. The examination of a deceased dog showed dehydration, so it remained trapped in a closet for numerous days. But how did it get there? The dog entered by chance during an instance of disarray and later found itself accidentally trapped in a closet. The dog's demise somehow linked to the circumstances that led to the deaths of the couple. The discovery of a decomposed dog body near the Arakawa murder site gives the entire situation an eldritch atmosphere. The bathroom floor revealed prescription medicines that lay near Arakawa's body after her death. The discovery of medications for blood pressure and thyroid management indicated that Arakawa needed medical care at the time of her death. At the time of the incident, was Arakawa striving to protect her own life or trying to assist Hackman? The pills found scattered on the floor suggest that one of them may have been used to stabilize either Hackman or his wife, while the situation demanded urgent medical assistance, but could also represent a moment of uncontrolled panic. The police must explore if possible medication use serves as additional evidence to distinguish between a situation where Hackman died by accident or purposeful means. The next couple owned an isolated mansion in Santa Fe, which remained detached from the crowded Hollywood environment. The distant location of this mansion led potentially to the deadly situation they faced. Catalog ally Speaking Arakawa needed to respond immediately when Hackman suffered a sudden collapse, because this situation could endanger either her or him. Nearly 2 weeks of unmonitored seclusion at the mansion became a dangerous aspect, since no neighbors could assist or report their condition. Even though seclusion offered discretion, it meant emergency assistance would be unreachable. Their fascination with seclusion between them possibly led to their fatal accident. Perhaps the lack of neighbor proximity played a role either in a fatal occurrence or something darker. 2 medical examinations gave some answers, yet produced more mysteries to unravel. The data from his pacemaker matched the cause of death when Hackman suffered a fatal cardiac arrest. Despite intensive investigation, the death examination proved too difficult to reach conclusive findings. Heart disease symptoms were detected by the medical examiner, but he could not establish whether death came from disease progression or emergencies. Several indications existed that pointed to a possible fall, which raised doubts about whether she sustained physical injuries when she tried to help her husband. More questions arose from the autopsy results because the deceased dog suffered from dehydration-based death. These clinical documents create an image of an erratic last phase, but they fail to solve many remaining mysteries. The advancing investigation revealed different explanations to people. The sudden death of Hackman reportedly started multiple events that ultimately led to Arakawa's passing away. She might have struggled to rescue him before she became too tired or was impacted by her medical condition. These speculations suggested an intruder as the cause, but the absence of evidence supported the hypothesis that no such person was involved in the situation. People remain unclear about what or who prevented Arakawa from seeking help. A delayed fatal event could have occurred if Hackman experienced a fall that required Arakawa to provide care until both of them succumbed. The investigators have looked into deeper reasons for the deaths that might not have a simple answer. Their tragic deaths create an enduring record which stands as the lasting tribute to Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa. The cinematic legacy of Hollywood star Hackman remains significant because his filmography continues to delight crowds of fans throughout the world. Although renowned as a musician, Arakawa showed musical talent that enchanted her friends and acquaintances. Their love story became one of Hollywood's greatest romantic partnerships that lasted through 4 decades. The end of their lives remains unclear because the couple spent their final time in seclusion at their Santa Fe mansion, creating a mystery about what happened there. The world wonders whether their passing stemmed from an unluckily fatal accident or if something more sinister remains hidden below the surface. Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa passed away in a tragic event which resonated in every corner of Hollywood and throughout the worldwide community. The retirement of Hackman in 2004 did not diminish the love for him, as audiences celebrated his legendary performances during his entire career with 2 Oscars. Although not widely known to the public, Arakawa was widely acknowledged for her skills in music. Their relationship formed a beloved romance that became a trademark of Hollywood over time. The last pages of their lives create a tantalizing enigma about their factual end inside that mansion.